to the movie 50 Shades of Grey. That is a classic. It's 10 years old already and still evergreen. Welcome back. It is Hard Facts 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Oracle Chinedu here. Conversations that matter happen here. We claim to have Port Harcourt's biggest conversations. We have not been proven wrong so far. Another one is about to happen right now. And it still affects our rivers, even though not exactly with the current governor, but the government. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has dismissed appeals filed by the Rivers State Attorney General and Speaker of the State House of Assembly, effectively paving way for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate the tenure of former Rivers State Governor Peter Odili. In a ruling delivered on Monday, March the 10th of 2025, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice John Okoro, upheld the leave granted by the Court of Appeal to the EFCC, allowing the anti-graft agency to challenge a long-standing perpetual injunction that had barred it from probing Odili's administration. Odili, who governed Rivers State from 1999 to 2007, secured the controversial injunction from the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt in 2007, preventing the EFCC from investigating, arresting, or prosecuting him, as well as scrutinizing the state's finances during his tenure. The FCC has fought to overturn this injunction since 2008, but the legal blockade had shielded the former governor from its investigation for nearly 2 decades. And that's all now. So, the Supreme Court has cleared the path for the EFCC to probe Odili's government. My goodness. There are too many controversies connected to this. But any right-thinking mind will first ask, why will a court grant an injunction to stop an anti-graft agency from investigating a government? Not just any a perpetual injunction, meaning don't try it now and don't try it ever. Well, the court would be the only body responsible for answering that question. But as a Nigerian, you want to ask these questions. Why? On what grounds? I'm sure that the lawyers argued well, but I imagine what the reasons were for that injunction to have been granted. In a country where we are supposed to prioritize zero tolerance to corruption. And yes, there might be reasons, right? I'm not trying to attack the court. I wouldn't try that. It's just, it really does beat the imagination and the senses, really. Okay, so we're going to talk about this because we work in rivers. The affairs of River State, particularly connected to government and governance. This, if we do not go back in time. In 2007, Peter Odili, after River State governor, secured a perpetual injunction from the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt. The ruling barred the EFCC from investigating, arresting, or prosecuting him, effectively shielding him from scrutiny over alleged corruption and financial mismanagement. So the allegations were there. But they went to a court to say, these people should not investigate. They should not arrest. They should not prosecute. In fact, they should not let them just be gone, even though the allegations are there. And somehow, it happened. So the EFCC, thanks to a court order, were unable to probe the administration of Peter Odili. The following year, 2008, EFCC started to challenge it. They challenged the injunction, they fought it. Under the then chairman, Farida Waziri, they sought to overturn the ruling, arguing that no individual should have immunity from investigation beyond constitutional provisions. And yes, it seems like they do have a point. Because why will you not want to be investigated, especially as the administration has ended and the almighty immunity has been taking off? This is the one time where the EFCC actually gets to act. So they kept fighting. As you can tell, the fight took them nowhere. 2 years later, in 2010, multiple attempts by the EFCC to lift the injunction faced legal obstacles. The case remained in limbo as political dynamics and judicial interpretations played its part in the delay. They tried and they tried. They pushed and they pushed. But they kept hitting a brick wall. Matter of fact, a very brick wall. A wall that can rival the Great Wall of China. Jericho has nothing on this. The Wall of Jericho fell. That's just nothing. It just did not work. In 2003, the EFCC under the chairman Ola Olukoyede renewed its push. It went again to challenge the injunction, citing the need for transparency and accountability in governance. And the EFCC doesn't really need to speak English. The reasons are obvious. I feel like when the court asks, why are you challenging this injunction? The answer should be, because we need transparency, that's you being academic. As a matter of fact, you need to ask the court, why not? As you can tell, it didn't work out, but they kept pushing. In March 2024, the Court of Appeal granted the EFCC leave to challenge the injunction. Like, okay, we're going somewhere. And then in March 2025, particularly March 10, literally 2 days ago, the Supreme Court, led by Justice John Okoro, dismissed appeals from the Rivers State Attorney General and Speaker of the State House of Assembly, allowing the EFCC to proceed with its investigation. It took almost 20 years to get here through different EFCC chairmen. Almost 20 years. And here we are. So what do you make of this? Oh, there definitely would be reactions, opinions. After asking why the court will even grant the injunction, again, like I said, lawyers will have the answer to those questions. You must understand that this is not just about guilt or innocence. It's about the restriction. It's not about what we will find if we investigate. It's about why were we not allowed to look in the first place. And there's something about action and intention. There are certain things you do that make you look some kind of way. It doesn't mean that you are. But the posturing, the positioning is suggestive of guilt. If someone stops you from searching, it usually means that they have something to hide. Again, you're not saying they are guilty or innocent, but not allowing you look usually means something. Let me give you an example. Because in this our fight against corruption, we have been through too many battles. And we're trying to see how far we can go in this war. So war of battles. In battle number 49, the Ganduje case. If you remember, the current APC national chairman, Ganduje, who used to be the governor of Kano State, was caught on video. I don't need to narrate the entire story. The incident that led to him being nicknamed Gandola. Right? An investigative journalist, Jafar, with I think a Daily Nigerian, had planned with some contractors. They claimed they were going for a contract in the States and they offered the governor kickbacks. He pocketed the dollar. It was captured on video. Long story short, yada, yada, yada. It is a classic case that should be investigated. It is corruption caught in, not really 4K because that's a low quality video, but we all saw it, right? So this should be like the easiest thing for the EFCC to tackle. Now, mind you, this was in 2017, which is just a couple of years ago. Till today, like I said earlier, and this is the exact expression I used, Ganduje does not know the interior decor of any Nigerian prison. Why? Because that case, according to the current Kano State government, the case file is missing. Your Excellency, sir, why is it missing? Well, it's because during a protest called End Bad Governance Protest, some hoodlums took the files from the courts because they attacked the courts according to the governor. And now there is no case file. This is a case from 2017. We all saw the video. If that case makes it to court, the prosecution does not need to speak too much English and say, according to our forensic expert. No, you just need to do a Google search. Ganduje video. You don't need an expert to dig up. Somebody who started using the internet today can find that video. It is still in the public domain. So just provide the evidence of caught red-handed, speak a few English. My lord, see as it be. This thing not supposed to happen. Thank you, my Lord. But nothing has been said about that case. You know, the amazing thing about that case, which is what I'm trying to point out, when that video leaked, and of course, the first position of government of Kano State was that no, it's not the governor, it's a doctored video. If you remember then, that was the first position. And then a lot of experts, because I think they forgot that experts too, check the video and say, nope, this is not doctored, this is as authentic as possible. They did not remove anybody's head and put it on top. It seemed like it's not working. Kadoje went to court to restrict the EFCC from prosecuting him. This information is in public domain. Something where all of us see. We were not there, but we watched it. That was the first step. So, this does not mean that Ganduje is guilty or innocent, even though we all have our opinions, and you have to use allegedly because a court has not. But in a situation where we saw video, they say, court, don't let these people touch me. Any other person who decides to go and tell the EFCC through the court not to investigate looks some kind of way. And like I said, I'm not saying you're guilty or innocent. It just makes you look guilty. Now, this is Ganduje from 2017. And if they try the case now, there are lots of things that would be lost in the pipeline. Too many reasons why that case. Imagine from 2007, 2 years short of 2 decades. Now the EFCC can finally investigate. Do you know how difficult it will be to pull off that probe of that government? The near impossible task before the EFCC to conduct a pending 20-year investigation. There would definitely be lots of missing files. Matter of fact, some files will not even exist anymore. And it's not because anybody is trying to hide it. It literally would be missing. Even those that know where it used to be will literally say, I don't know. And they really don't know. There are so many people who should answer questions from that government who might be dead. Yes, life happens too. They were waiting for EFCC to question them. But now you have to go to their grave if you want to get answers. There are so many impossible to retrieve documents. Investigation that should have happened 20 years ago. And this highlights one of the many challenges that the EFCC faces in its anti-corruption war. Because we keep saying, we are going after Yahoo Boy. Why not go after these politicians? Some of them have court injunctions restricting the EFCC from doing anything. And you may not be the fan of the EFCC, but it's the truth. Because they've been unable to probe any Rivers government since 2007. After the break, we'll talk some more. Please stay with us.
Stay with us.
Nigeria Info.
We'll be back.
Education is a key driver for growth for any economy.
I think the headlines should come up shortly. But between now and then, we're talking about the Supreme Court clearing the path for EFCC to probe Odili's government. And I gave a bit of a background as to how it started and how we got to where we are. So now the EFCC can carry on, but it's going to be a difficult ask because we're talking about a 20-year pending investigation. There's just too much that needs to be done. Now, love or hate the EFCC, you have to give them credit for being consistent on this matter through different chairmen. And once one chairman is suspended or sacked because they always left unceremoniously, another one comes in, and the Rivers issue is not at the front burner anymore. It takes a while before they Odili, Amechi, Nyesom Wike, and of course Governor Fubara is still running his government, and he has immunity. So, we're about to find out a couple of things if the EFCC decides to do this properly. But my question is, should there be a time limit on corruption probes? Because 20 years is quite some time. I know they have the expertise, but I would not even know where to begin. That is the question that should get an answer after the headlines. It's a quick one. We'll return to get your answer. Stay with us.
Headline News, Nigeria Info on
92.3.
Headline News.
Good evening, I'm Sam Chinedu, and here are the headlines. Governor Fubara says he will not abuse power, insists he notified Speaker before Assembly budget visit. Rivers Assembly asks ICPC to investigate RISIAC Chairman Justice Enebeli. President Tinubu meets with Lagos Assembly Speaker Obasa and others in Abuja. Tight security as PDP NWC meets in Abuja. And on the foreign scene, European defense ministers meet in Paris to discuss Ukraine rearmament. Details in the 6 p.m. bulletin. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.
With information comes power.
We give you more power with information. Nigeria Info.
Let's talk. This is Hard Fact.
Yes, indeed it is. So, back to the Rivers probe. Now the EFCC can do what they need to. Should there be a time limit on corruption probes, and what do you make of the development? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. Please turn off your radio as you call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name?
From
All right, go ahead.
Yes. Last the question he asked, will there be time limit? I'm happy that they have vacated the perpetual injunction that Odili put that they should not probe. Like what he said, if he said people should not touch it, maybe you have a skeleton in your cupboard. Now that they vacated it, either witch hunting or vendetta or any other thing, it is better for River State. When they probe him, they will also probe Amechi, they will also probe Nyesom Wike, and finally Fubara. You know, because what we are holding there is a perpetual injunction that they should not probe them. Now that the road has been opened, they probe all of them, and you see many things to happen.
All right.
Some people may have hypertension. Hello. But the problem I'm having is for 20 years now, they have not probed because they have not vacated the injunction. Many things have gone wrong. I don't know whether those who they would call for witness, whether they are still living by now. Because 20 years is a long time. How would they manage those things and those ones? If you are found culpable, you have to pay. So they have to be careful. I thought they were only vacating perpetual injunction, and they start with the this one because I think 20 years is it has gone right. If Odili has done by that time now, by now, would they prove is the body better? All the same, the vacation of the injection, it will affect everybody, both the former, current, and everybody.
All right.
It will not be only Odili because
Thank
after
you.
Odili, the other ones will contact to God bless the other one.
Thank you very much. Braid calls from Oginiba. Good evening, Braid. Braid, are you there? Hello, Braid. Okay, Braid is taking some time. Back to WhatsApp. Anything concerning Nigeria politics and judiciary, I don't wash my hand. Come out. Our constitution can be manipulated at any time, Clef Austin Rodriguez says. And Christian Williams, I fully support the decision of the Supreme Court on the probe of the River State officials. I don't understand why a government should be hiding from investigation. Christian is asking. Are we talking about the same injunction that Wike used to evade prosecution? Now, boom, the road is clear to tear the governments apart. You actually mentioned the name, but I just substituted with government. I'm not supporting corruption, but this country is funny in a way. Henry from where he says, okay. Owanita Clinton West says, the Supreme Court judgment on investigating the former governor, Peter Odili, is a welcome development. And the investigation should go round all former governors of Rivers. Okay. Hello, good evening.
Yes, Mr. Oracle.
Mr. Caller, what's your name?
Yes, I am very happy over that particular judgment. Given that the investigation should be carried out, beginning from Odili administration, even to the administration that will come after the governor similar administration. So anybody that is rejoicing now that finally Odili will be proved, to also know that whether the present governor or the incoming governor, that the future governor, to note that he too will be proved. But where I am worried is that the judges that are giving all these judgments or responsible for the delay in giving judgment to all these judgments, you also face penalty. There should be room for such judges to face some punishment. This will serve as deterrent to other judges that want to use all these channels to frustrate the common man through justice. That is the way I want to say.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you, Chinedu the Oracle.
Good evening. What's your name?
Okwando Obina is my name.
All right, go ahead.
You see, that is one of the reasons why I continuously tell you that most of the rulings that are coming from our courts, whether it is Supreme or Magistrate or High Court, for a long time now, people have been going to court to remove this perpetual injunction. But it has not worked. Just a few months now, just because the orderly is in the other side of the divide, you see the Supreme Court coming out to rule against him. I don't like all these things that we are doing. This is not how to build a good society. Why now? I know many people that have gone to court to remove these perpetual injunctions, but it has been there. It has been there. But today you see the Supreme Court giving a go-ahead order to investigate Peter Odili. I think when judgments are being motivated either by politics or any other thing, it is not a good one. It is not good for the society. This judgment that is coming out today, I don't think it will achieve anything. As a matter of fact, what happens to the Wike administration? What happens to that of Amechi and others? Are they still included?
Yes, it's
These are the questions that we are asking.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's the River State government. So after Odili, the EFCC can look into any of the past governors. Chima calls from Jerry. Good evening, Chima.
Good evening, Mr. Sam.
Good evening.
Mr. Sam, you asked one question, which I am pondering about. How a court will grant perpetual injunction to restrain an agency that is saddled with the responsibility of investigating financial misappropriation. That is what I'm surprised, I tell you. And when I went through further, I find out that the judge that gave that judgment were later indicted for bribery.
Oh my.
Justice Buba I tell you. So these are the things. It has shown clearly that judiciary is contributing to the problem of this nation. I tell you. Look at Dangote case. Till now, nothing seems to have been done. Judge gave order that the man should not be investigated. I don't know how they manage. I mean, how they think whenever they are reading out this order they are giving. So stop after somebody came out. You said your people call you. According to your former colleague, you were in your toilet. Your people call you. Then you must have managed the office for a number of days. And when they call you to come and tell the people how you were able to expend their funds, and what you do, you go to court. It's unfortunate.
All right. Thank you very much. Braid is back. Hello, Braid. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
All right. Welcome back. Please go ahead. You're my final caller.
Thank you very much. EFCC court vacating River State perpetual injunction. Well, I think it would be good if holistically handled. But I think it's getting to almost 30 years. If you look at it side by side, most of the commissioners within that time, some of them have died. Because I could even remember the commissioner for finance. I don't think he's still alive. And I don't think the investigation from Odili time would be very successful. And also, I look at it that really, sometimes you remember, one party chairman said that if you come to our party,
all sins are forgiven.
If you join our party, definitely your sins are forgiven.
Mm.
So I don't.
Oh my. All right.
Hello.
Okay, I thought I lost it there, but the call is ended. Thank you very much, Braid. I'm sure you've made a major part of your point. Well, this is where we are. It's an interesting place to be. It's called Nigeria. A couple of things will shock you. There'll be things that don't make sense here. But it is expected when development is the goal that you will encounter many things that would make you gasp. If we are to fix this country, then we must live through perpetual injunctions that we don't understand, corruption cases that lead nowhere, and Nigeria just being Nigeria. It's a beautiful place to be. Another thing I'd like to say as I wrap up this conversation is that every day on the show, every day, I want you to also keep track. I hear the expression, the judiciary is our problem in Nigeria. There are variations of that statement made. They might not use those exact words, but somebody blames the judiciary. And we can understand why that happens. Now, I'm hoping that I come on the show and for one whole day, for some reason, maybe because of the conversations we're having, the judiciary will not be a problem that one day. And it extends to the next day and the next week and a couple of months and the next few years. And maybe, just maybe, judicial reforms be activated and we can be proud of the legal system that we have. But as we are on our way to that place, we'll keep talking for development and hoping that the judiciary becomes the solution and not the problem. Thank you very much. A program comes up now at the top of the hour, which is 6. We will have the major news. Let's see. In 1 minute, I can squeeze in a few comments. Good evening, Mr. Oracle. My name is Comrade Odiadi Gospa from Ahoda. That perpetual injunction has been set aside. Let the probe begin for former Governor Odili to Wike and beyond. People cry not because they are weak. They cry because they've been strong for too long. That's interesting. Oracle, I hail. I'm not against the EFCC, but because they are selective in their cause, I don't like them. You will not believe me that that's the way it is. The whole thing is because Odili and Wike are having big loggerhead over Governor Sim. Allegedly, Wike and the president have influence over the Supreme Court. That's interesting. Moving on, Sam, the EFCC has not been able to probe Odili because he has not had issues with authorities from the center. But now he has one. It is good for this possibility of a probe, which one day will after the man behind the grandstand victory of the EFCC. I think this will be a great place to end it. Thanks for listening. Keep listening.